Hello guys, welcome back to this particular video on HTML elements. Alright, for the last time we looked at a portfolio kind of web page that shows everything about us, okay, everything about you. Okay, so whatever it is that is being replicated on the right side of my screen, ensure you replace it with your own name. Alright, so after the lesson, I'll be sending this web file to the description section of this video. Okay, so whenever you find out something that doesn't resonate with you, like my name, my complexion, my favorite, you can as well edit it to suit your taste. Okay, for this particular video, we want to look at how to incorporate image elements into our web page. Alright, so far we'll be looking at how we could present our web page in form of with a header and a paragraph tag. Like for here, you can see this is a header and there's a paragraph tag. This is a header, likewise this being a paragraph tag. Okay, so one of the rules of HTML coding is that do not repeat. Like, make sure that you follow the tag sequentially. This cannot be H1. This, if this is H1, this shouldn't be H1. Okay, so straight up to what we have for today, we'll be looking at how to incorporate image into our what do we call it, HTML document. Okay, let me refresh this again. See, one good thing about this, the moment you delete a code, you have to refresh it before it reflects. Alright, so after writing this about me, I want to incorporate an image about myself. You know, I said about me, my background, my favorite food, my image, excuse me for that. So let me use a header 2 tag again, header 2, my image or my photograph. So anybody who is reading this, definitely look at my photograph. Now, one basic thing is, okay, let us include a horizontal element here. Remember, the horizontal element is a void element. So let's include a picture of me in this particular place. Alright, so what web developers do is that they have a folder that contains all their web files. Their web file contains other resources like the picture, video. If it's a website that displays what, video, alright, is it fine? So what they actually do is that from this place where I have, you know, every file in your VS Code is being inserted in one folder. You have to create a folder for it. Alright, so it makes more meaning. If you were to host your website on a domain, so whatever content of that folder that you have, you need to copy it to that domain. Alright, and you get your server hosted. You have your website being live for longer time duration. So the first thing you need to do, just head up. Like in my system, I'm going to head up to here is desktop, here is a web development folder. So you might choose to create any folder that suits your taste. So what we'll be looking at is adding image. Adding what? Image. I remember that this particular file I'm working on here, this particular HTML file, can be found inside this folder. Okay, so you can create a subfolder inside the parent folder to be titled anything you want. You understand? But most pattern is likely titled as assets. Like those assets you'll be using for your web page. Alright, so you should create another folder called assets. After creating another folder called assets, you start inserting your images there. Alright, so this is the image of me. Do you understand the step? That's the first thing you need to do. Have the image in a particular folder, in a special folder. Okay, you can name that folder as what? Asset. So this VS Code file I'm working on here is actually inside this portfolio folder. So you can have this subfolder inside the main folder. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but let's proceed. Let's go ahead. Inside my assets folder, you can see the image. So this is this image I want to insert on that page, that web page. All right. So what I'll be doing, let me go back to this place. The pattern for doing what, including image to your web page, you just say open tag img, then you now state the source. The source is being stated as src, alright, then is equals to the URL. Here is going to be the URL of the image, okay, and it closes itself. Now image element is a void element. Image element in HTML is void. It does not have an open tag, it only have a closing tag, and the backslash of image elements closing tag is always at the ending part. Do you understand? Like what is being displayed here, this is where the slash is, and this is where the tag, the closing angular tag is. All right. So it is this pattern you use to do what, insert image into your what do we call it, your HTML document or your web page. So having taken note of this pattern, let's go down. I want to insert that image. Now it's going to look like this. img is an image element. Okay, remember I said it's void. img src, this src, you know, one thing about HTML codes is that do not cram codes. Don't cram codes. Understand what the code is doing. If you understand what the code is doing, you're good, you're fine. All you just need to do is make additional research, okay, to complement your understanding. So in other words, you're going to say img src, you hit the enter button, okay. After hitting the enter button, now we have to specify what's following this pattern up here. We have to specify what's the URL of our image, okay. What's the URL of the image? So we can specify this by using, I think the next important subject we should be looking at is computer file paths in the next video. All right. So for you to distinguish between file paths, we use a dot and a slash. A dot and a slash. When you give a dot and a slash, it's trying to get into a particular place to get something. So in this video, we are trying to get into the asset folder. All right, we're trying to get, so if you save it the way I told you to save, it will be very easy for you when VS Code wants to look for that particular image. How did I say you should save it? Just go to the main folder, create a subfolder called assets, where you put most of your pictures, all right, that you'll be using for your web page. All right, so after that, our picture is inside the asset folder. Remember when I showed you the other time? Let me get back there. Okay, this is the portfolio folder and this is the assets folder where you can find my picture. All right, you can see it. I click on it again. So let's get back to this place. Watch what I'm doing, because most people find it difficult to include images on their web page. So it's, if you don't have this basic understanding first, it might look confusing. And if this one seems confusing, please watch the next video. The next video will be on the computer file paths. Okay, so your understanding about the subject matter will be clarified. So once you include a dot and a forward slash, VS Code asks you, where do you want to get this image from? You understand? So we want to get it from the asset folder, and it will now show you all the images in asset folder. So it's very essential when you're saving anything in the asset folder, please save it with the name, because that's what you use. Because if you don't save it with the name, if you save it with the number, you might not know the actual exact number you want to pick out. Okay, is it clear? So this is the exact image, which is titled smiling. That's what I'm going to pick out. So if you have other images, everything will be displayed right here. Do you understand? So we click on this. Okay, after clicking on this, there's one other thing that is very essential to be added to images. All right, what is that essential thing? An alternate text. Now most people who experience a form of